Alright, so it's a quick one tonight, but a very frustrating one to work out what the problem is. And it's often the simplest of problems that is the most difficult and most frustrating to fix. So tonight we have the brother MFC-j6930dw with a paper jamming problem. Tray 1 works okay. Tray 2 is the problem that's paper jamming. So if we ask the machine to print a piece of paper, the machine picks from tray 1 because that's the default that's been chosen on this one. The machine works perfectly okay. We take this, put it in the feeder. Now we're going to make it use tray 2, and you'll see what this particular customer's problem is. It's taking me 3 hours. I spent 2 hours on site at the customer's premises in broad daylight. It's not until I've gotten the machine back here on the workbench. I'm working on it in the middle of the night. The surroundings are dark. I've got my camera, the torch on my camera, and it's the way I've found ridiculously what the problem has been with this machine. So we're going to go options. We're going to tell it to choose, where is it? So we want to do a copy. We want it to do tray 2. Copy. Machine takes the paper down. You can hear the machine trying to feed paper. It has a second attempt trying to feed the paper, and it fails, and you end up with this. Repetitive, no paper fed, clean the pickup roller for tray 2. This particular problem only occurs on tray 2 because of the way the machine's designed, as it turns out. So if we go around to the back of the machine and we have a good look, we will notice that we have one paper being fed. This particular time there's no second bit of paper. Pull it out, there's probably no paper in the tray. The devil is in the detail. So if we take a look at this piece of paper, the piece of paper has actually made it up, and it has actually pushed on the paper sensor. There. So it's made it up and pushed on the flag that tells the machine that the paper has reached the registration and it's ready to go, but it hasn't. So after 3 hours, 2 hours at the customer, 1 hour at home, here is the detail. If we look at the detail, so the paper's getting blocked because it's getting a buckle. So it gets buckled because paper keeps being fed up, but the paper can't go any further. And here is the detail. On the edge, it looks completely fine, but it's over on this side where you notice this absolute tiny hint. And the tiny hint is this tiny little corner bit that's folded up. Now, the mistake I was making is that I thought the paper came up here and around and in through the slot up there. What the paper actually does is it goes underneath. So this particular fault has been created by the customer. The customer's manhandling of the printer has caused this paper jamming issue. This particular customer hasn't been able to use this tray 2 for 2 years. He finally got the shits and called me in, and I did a bit of a deal, sold him some ink, and we're fixing the printer for free because he purchased his ink from us. So what's happening is the paper goes up and it's really hard to see. It's only because it's night time, there's no other light around. I'm relying on the torch to see. But the problem is, if you have a look in here, if we can focus it, down this crack, you'll see there is a piece of paper that is torn off when the customer has gone to get the paper out, and they've ripped the paper out. So right under here, if you can have a look, if you can see, there's a tiny piece of paper hidden where you can't see it. That piece of paper has been there for 2 years and has prevented the customer from using his machine. So now all we've got to do is grab a stiff piece of cardboard, push it down, get a finger under there, and get that piece of paper out. And there we have it. Push the bit of cardboard down on the slot, and out comes this tiny piece of paper that's been sitting in this customer's machine for 2 years. Pull the cardboard out, close the cover up, go back out to the front of the machine, clean the paper pickup roller. We're not going to clean it, we don't need to. Just hit OK. Now we'll open the cover, close the cover, okay, so now it's picking the paper. It's picked the paper successfully, and there we are 2 years later. The machine now works perfectly. So 3 hours labour to fix such a stupid customer created problem. Fortunately, the guy bought $300 worth of our ink. That's our ink, not genuine brother. We have non-genuine inks that work perfectly in these machines. That has compensated us. The guy's got a really good deal. He's now got 6,000 pages worth of ink that will work properly in his machines. These machines also have a problem with non-genuine ink because there's a few manufacturers in China. They're filling the non-genuine cartridges with the wrong type of ink. They use the same ink that was in the previous model, the 6920. Brother has released this machine deliberately with a different type of ink. If you put in our inks, which has the correct ink. If you have a look at the yellow cartridges in these, it's the dead giveaway. You look at the ink and it's got a milky sort of a colour. If you're using non-genuine inks that are not milky in colour like this, they are damaging your printer. And unfortunately, one of the most popular online sellers in Australia is selling non-genuine inks that have the wrong ink. The ink works perfectly in the previous model, the 6920, but it does not work in the 6930. We have non-genuine inks that have been manufactured with the correct type of ink. That's it for today. It's a quick one. I hope that helps you get your printer fixed a lot faster than the 3 hours it's taken me to fix this friggin' thing. God. It's one of those weeks.